My stepmom is pushing for my grandparents to move in with us. As a 17-year-old, I'm navigating a complex situation involving my grandparents, who are not only facing health challenges but also hold homophobic and Christian beliefs. Despite this, I took the brave step of coming out to my parents as bisexual and non-binary last year. We collectively decided not to disclose this information to my grandparents to avoid conflict. However, just before my aunt's wedding, I discovered that my stepmom had revealed my truth to them without my consent. Although they haven't addressed it with me directly, this breach of privacy left me feeling vulnerable and uncertain about their acceptance. Now, with the prospect of my grandparents moving in, I'm faced with the dilemma of how to navigate my identity in their presence. I expressed my concerns about bringing a girlfriend over and was met with the directive to conceal our relationship and refrain from showing affection openly to avoid stirring up drama. This directive has left me torn between conforming to avoid confrontation and asserting my identity and right to love openly. On one hand, I understand the desire to maintain peace within the family, especially given my grandparents' fragile state. On the other hand, suppressing my authentic self feels stifling and unfair. I'm grappling with whether to prioritize my own happiness and authenticity, I openly loving a girlfriend in front of my grandparents, or to adhere to my stepmom's wishes to avoid conflict. It's a challenging decision that requires careful consideration of both my own well-being and the dynamics within my family. My mom was raped and the killer threatened to kill me. First of all, I'm not from Europe or America. It was exposed over 2 years ago when my mom was forcefully dragged by the guy in the square near our house to make my mom pay for his purchases too much alcohol. So far, this matter has come to light my dad and I found out about it. For the past year or so, forcibly having sex with my mom, in hotels, cars, wild places, and even I don't know if there is still my house, his house. My mom was crying the other day that she was forced, even though I don't think so. My mom told that if she didn't want to, the bad man would have killed me, because he knew my school address, and the way I always came back home. This man, my mom even let him drive me home from school holidays when I was still far away from school. I didn't know this man at that time, and I had a sixth sense in my heart that felt weird. This was after the matter was exposed. I took the initiative to ask my mom if this was the man who drove the car. I'm now very repulsed by my mom. My dad didn't choose to get a divorce for a number of reasons, and I very much feel for my dad that he doesn't deserve it. She continues to act like nothing happened after it happened, and I've gone out and rented a room away from our neighborhood area.
Last dog. Sometimes I find myself reflecting on my life and feeling like the dog at the pound. I'm the one tucked away in the shadows, the one who avoids meeting your gaze. There was a time when I was like a happy, outgoing puppy, eager to greet you, jumping at the cage, hoping for someone to love me, hold me, take me, and call me theirs. But then, like so many before, you'll give me one last glance and move on to the next. With each rejection, the weight on my heart grows heavier, and I find myself sinking lower, bowing my head. Gradually, I forget the idea that someone might choose me, yet a faint hope lingers that I might still be picked. As time goes by, it feels as though my cage has been built up with bricks. Brick by brick, darkness surrounds me, shielding me from your eyes so I can't see your rejection. I don't feel worthy. I'm not what you're looking for. There are days when I feel like a ghost, forgotten by others and forgetting myself. So, I retreat into the cold embrace of solitude, where hope no longer hurts, and even in loneliness, I may find some semblance of peace, if only in slumber and dreams. The constant rejection serves as a painful reminder that I'm not worth the effort. I still wonder what it is about me that pushes love away, and so I choose to sleep to avoid feeling. In my dreams, I am loved and my life is full, but upon awakening, reality sets in and I realize I'm still alone. Slowly, I feel myself fading and I begin to embrace sleep, where even the slightest semblance of peace can be found. They point and wonder what's wrong with me, and it's as if I'm looking into a mirror asking the same question of myself. I suppose I'm the last dog unwanted. I hang my head and retreat into my corner, back to my bed, where rest seems like my only refuge. Yet, amidst the despair, there's still a flicker of belief. Anguish becomes my comfort, and loneliness my companion. But against all odds, I still hold on to a faint hope that one day, you might just choose me. I died in my dream and didn't wake up. Last night, as I drifted into sleep, I found myself immersed in a troubling dream. In this dream, I was consumed by an overwhelming rage, smashing everything in my room and causing chaos. Then, I found myself at my school, behind the wheel of a truck, only to accidentally shatter its screen. As I continued driving, I collided with a red car at a four-way intersection before being struck by a lowrider, resulting in a fiery explosion. The intensity of the dream escalated as I felt immense pressure on my face, and suddenly everything turned white. Whispers filled the air, followed by an ear-deafening suction sensation, akin to a vacuum hose near my ear. The experience jolted me awake, my body covered in chills, curled into a fetal position uncharacteristic for me as I usually sleep on my back. For the next hour, fear gripped me until eventually, I managed to calm down and drift back into sleep. Expedition. Stepping out of the ship, burdened by the weighty suit and the oppressive gravity, I felt a malevolent force bearing down on me, diminishing my stature. The gravity seemed to drain the blood from my head, sending it cascading down to my feet. My pulse pounded in my ears, as if my very essence sought escape from my body. Above, the sky glittered with millions of watchful eyes, whispering secrets that eluded my comprehension. "Put your helmet back on," Jocks advised, breaking the eerie silence. "But I thought we could breathe here," I questioned. "We can, but the suits help counteract the gravity's effect. Breathing might be possible, but the force would make it feel suffocating." Approaching the base established by the previous crew, we encountered a sight of disarray. The entrance door lay damaged, its hinges bent and battered. "Could this have been?" I began, but Jocks cut me off. "No, there were no reports of life forms on this planet. There must be another explanation," he dismissed, his tone firm and paternal. "Let's proceed." Inside the base, the flickering lights cast an eerie glow, while the walls bore marks of past struggles. Puddles of murky liquid dotted the floor, emitting a foul odor. What could have caused this? I wondered aloud. "Who knows?" Jocks replied. "Perhaps a storm or some unknown phenomenon." After sealing the door and activating the exertion to mitigate the gravity, Jocks reassured me that it was safe to remove our helmets. As we did, the oppressive heat became apparent, exacerbated by malfunctioning equipment. "Check if the water is still running," Jocks instructed. "You could use a cold shower to cool off." As I traversed the corridor in my clanking suit, I entered the bathroom only to find the faucet unresponsive. Frustrated, I reached for a towel to wipe away the sweat, noticing the crimson hue of my eyes in the mirror a testament to the strain of the environment. Suddenly, a buzzing sensation swept through me, followed by violent tremors and the sound of twisting metal. Panic seized me as I rushed to find Jocks, only to discover him reduced to a mass of flesh on the ground. Paralyzed by a strange force, I felt my body contort and dissolve, as if my very essence was being torn apart. In the end, I too became a heap of flesh, laid bare by the unfathomable forces at play. I'm trying cheese pizza for the first time today. When I was younger, I had an allergy to dairy, so consuming cheese would always leave me feeling terrible. As a result, I simply avoided it altogether. However, as I grew older, I found that I had outgrown the allergy. This realization dawned on me when I tried Cheetos after years of avoiding cheese and noticed that they no longer caused discomfort in my mouth or digestive issues. Curious about whether my tolerance had truly changed, I cautiously tried a piece of cheese and found that I felt completely fine afterward. Encouraged by this, I had another piece without any adverse effects. Although my allergy was never life-threatening, it did make me feel quite unwell in the past. Now, I find myself contemplating whether it's safe for me to indulge in cheese again, particularly as I consider ordering a slice of pizza with cheese today. There's a mix of emotions surrounding this decision. On one hand, I'm intrigued to see if I'll enjoy the taste of classic pizza with cheese after hearing so much praise about it throughout my life. On the other hand, I can't help but feel a tinge of sadness knowing that I'll no longer experience the unique sensation of my mouth stinging, which made eating Cheetos such a memorable childhood experience. It may seem like a trivial concern, but for me, it's a reminder of how our tastes and experiences evolve over time. I want to quit a job I just started. I recently got hired through an agency for an urgent role that began on Monday. Despite completing all the necessary paperwork and screenings promptly, I find myself struggling with the Monday-Friday 8 to 5 schedule, particularly the early mornings, which I detest. The job entails working at the front desk of a mental health clinic, a position I anticipated would involve online training initially. However, I was immediately thrown into tasks such as checking in patients, making therapist calls, and handling phone inquiries, tasks that exacerbate my existing anxiety, especially regarding phone calls. Feeling overwhelmed and unsure of how to proceed, I found myself eagerly counting down the minutes until I could leave on my first day. Now facing the prospect of continuing this routine, I'm at a loss for what to do. If I were to resign, would I be required to provide a 2-week notice period? Teachers should be fired? As a junior placed in a freshman art class due to scheduling constraints, I've found myself in a challenging situation with an elderly teacher who struggles with hearing, vision, and memory issues. Last week, during an online assignment where we were required to watch a video, I watched it on my phone since I didn't have my belongings with me. Despite the class policy allowing phone use for work purposes, the teacher accused me of sleeping and confiscated my phone, even though I was simply watching the video. Later, when I adjusted my position due to discomfort from sitting on stools with my legs dangling, the teacher again accused me of sleeping and took away my phone once more, ignoring her assistant's attempt to correct her. Afterward, I was further reprimanded by the assistant principal for not smartly hiding my posture. This incident highlights a recurring pattern of unjustified accusations and punitive actions from the teacher, including unnecessary criticisms about computer usage. While I understand the need for classroom rules, the teacher's actions seem disproportionate and unfair. Should she be held accountable for her behavior, or is there a better solution to address the situation?
I female 26 don't know why I'm falling in love with this guy male 23. I recently dipped my toes into the world of dating apps, albeit hesitantly. Previous encounters with individuals from these platforms left me disillusioned, with many seeming like either idiots or perverts. However, upon the recommendation of a friend, I decided to give it another shot. That's where I stumbled upon this guy. Initially, I was put off by the fact that he was younger than me, but as we conversed, I found myself overlooking this detail. We shared so much in common and our conversations flowed effortlessly. He eventually suggested that we meet up to hang out and get to know each other better. However, as we began dating, I couldn't help but notice the stark differences between us. I'm accustomed to the old-fashioned dating etiquette where the inviter pays, men are courteous, and chivalry is valued. He, on the other hand, marches to the beat of his own drum. He's laid back, dresses casually, and isn't overly concerned with grooming or niceties like opening doors. Moreover, he's not particularly chivalrous and often adopts a "you want something, do-it-yourself" attitude. Despite this, I was taken aback when he asked me to contribute to the cost of our movie tickets during one of our outings. Initially, I was skeptical about a second date, but we had such a great time together that I found myself overlooking these differences. Our subsequent dates only deepened my feelings for him, despite his occasional lapses in communication etiquette, like not responding immediately on WhatsApp or failing to check in after our dates. Despite our clashing expectations, I find myself falling more and more in love with him. But I'm torn. I fear that our differences may cause problems in the future, yet I'm also afraid of losing him to someone else, as we haven't yet established anything serious. The mere thought of him no longer being a part of my life fills me with sadness. I've already uninstalled my dating apps since we started dating, but I couldn't help but notice that he still has them on his phone. While I know I have no right to demand anything from him at this stage, I feel compelled to address my concerns, even though I'm afraid of his reaction. What should I do?
Real, short, horrifying story. During a week-long stay at my grandma's house, I found myself engrossed in my laptop one day when she mentioned she'd be stepping out momentarily. The reason eludes me now. Left alone in the house, I began to hear footsteps and other noises. Assuming my grandma had returned, I felt no sense of fear. As I glanced over with one eye, fully expecting to see her, I casually remarked, "Oh, you're back." Yet, to my surprise, there was no one there. What made this encounter truly chilling was not the presence of any imagined monster or apparition, but rather my complete lack of fear. I had genuinely believed it to be my grandma, only to realize it wasn't. I have a potentially supernatural stalker and I'm terrified. Last Friday, after my acting class, a bizarre incident occurred, setting off a chain of events that left me terrified and bewildered. As part of my responsibilities, I locked up the venue after everyone had departed, a routine task I'd done countless times before. However, upon reaching my car, I noticed a significant discrepancy in time. What should have been a brief interval between locking up and reaching my vehicle had somehow stretched into a mysterious gap of 20 minutes. Initially dismissing it as a mere oversight, I retraced my steps and confirmed that I had indeed left at the designated time. Yet, to my alarm, I discovered physical evidence suggesting otherwise, tears streaking down my cheeks, unbeknownst to me. This inexplicable occurrence left me deeply unsettled, questioning my sanity and grappling with the fear of a looming mental health issue. The weekend passed without further incident, and I attempted to rationalize the inexplicable time lapse as a figment of my imagination. However, my hopes of dismissing the episode as a fluke were shattered when a similar occurrence transpired during my subsequent lockup duty. Despite meticulously verifying the time and documenting it, I found myself once again confronted with missing minutes and tear-stained cheeks. Determined to unravel the mystery, I embarked on a quest for answers, starting with a review of the CCTV footage from the vicinity. What I discovered plunged me into a state of sheer horror. The footage revealed a chilling encounter, a hooded figure engaging me in an inexplicable interaction, seemingly manipulating my emotions and erasing my memory. His unsettling actions left me feeling violated and vulnerable, with a slew of unanswered questions plaguing my mind. Haunted by the encounter and consumed by fear, I grappled with whether to involve the authorities or delve deeper into the enigma. As I wrestled with my options, the unsettling realization dawned upon me: I was being stalked by an unknown entity, its motives shrouded in mystery. Now, confined to the safety of my room, I'm left grappling with uncertainty and dread. The sinister presence that has targeted me twice remains at large, its sinister intentions casting a dark shadow over my every thought and action. As I navigate this harrowing ordeal, I'm filled with a sense of profound vulnerability, acutely aware of the stalker's malevolent presence lurking just beyond the threshold of perception. Stay safe out there, for the darkness may hold secrets far more terrifying than we dare to imagine.
My brother ruined my birthday. I'm a 19-year-old woman with a rather complex family dynamic, primarily revolving around my younger brother, who is 14 years old and was born with certain challenges. From the moment my brother entered our lives, my parents showered him with attention and affection, seemingly at the expense of acknowledging my existence. My childhood was marked by a sense of invisibility as my parents poured all their energy into catering to my brother's needs and desires. Every milestone, every celebration, every birthday party became centered around my brother. While other kids reveled in the joy of their special day, mine was overshadowed by the constant focus on him. Gifts meant for me would often find their way into his hands, leaving me feeling neglected and overlooked. The culmination of this neglect came on my 18th birthday, a day that should have been filled with joy and celebration. Instead, it served as a stark reminder of my desire for independence. Even as my family gathered to mark the occasion, my thoughts were consumed by the prospect of finally breaking free from the suffocating shadow of my brother's needs. Amidst the chaos of the festivities, a glimmer of hope appeared in the form of a gift from my grandmother: a new phone, a symbol of newfound freedom and autonomy. Yet, before I could even grasp it, my brother snatched it from my hands and callously smashed it to the ground, shattering any semblance of joy or happiness had dared to feel. In that moment, as I watched the shattered pieces of my gift scatter across the floor, I realized the depth of my invisibility within my own family. But despite the pain and disappointment, a flicker of determination ignited within me. Tomorrow, I'll share an update on my journey towards reclaiming my sense of self and forging a path independent of my brother's shadow.
I sometimes find myself feeling nostalgic. On my colleagues' behalf, it's a strange sensation being 24 and surrounded by colleagues who are notably older, some in their mid-30s, most in their 40s or beyond. Yet, despite the generation gap, I've grown to cherish the camaraderie and connection I share with these individuals, serving as the primary reason I've yet to entertain thoughts of leaving my job. Occasionally, while casually perusing social media feeds, I stumble upon unexpected glimpses into the past lives of my coworkers. A random photo, often faded and weathered, captures them in their youth, surrounded by friends and family, accompanied by captions reminiscent of times long gone. Hard to believe it's been X amount of years, often 15 to 20 or more already. Love everyone who was there. Encountering these snapshots of their younger selves is oddly captivating. It's a reminder that once upon a time, they were my age, navigating life's twists and turns much like I am now. Though the awareness of their age relative to mine is ever present, it's easy to forget that these older individuals were once youthful, just as I am today. It's a realization that often goes unacknowledged, a universal truth that remains unexplored until prompted by such unexpected encounters. Moreover, reflecting on their past experiences from a different era, perhaps a time when the world operated under different norms and societal landscapes, evokes a sense of nostalgia on their behalf. Despite being born in 1999, a mere decade removed from those born in 1990, I find myself drawn to the nostalgia of their younger years, vicariously experiencing a life I never lived. In essence, it's a peculiar sensation, a blend of curiosity, empathy, and wistfulness that arises when glimpsing the youthful pasts of my older co-workers. It serves as a gentle reminder of the interconnectedness of our experiences across different generations and the enduring power of shared human connections, regardless of age or background.
Until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep spreading positivity wherever you go. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next video.